Hi, so we're with YEGnation. I'm Haroon, and this is Rob Agostinis, one of the counselors, or one of the running counselors for Ward 9. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
So we are YEGnation, and we're trying to get young people to come out and vote. And we heard that you're out here running as a candidate. So what are you doing for us to encourage young people to come out, come vote, and get involved with municipal politics? Because one of the things is we know Edmonton has an abysmal voting rate to begin with, but even amongst those voters, most of them are over 55. Yeah. So what are you planning on doing?
Well, I've lived in this area for over 23 years, and I actually have a daughter who's 20 years old and at third-year university. And on my team, I've got sort of the young Rob Agostinis campaign team. And what she's gone out is she's gone out to encourage all her friends at university and around this neighborhood to come out and actually vote. What's interesting is that when my daughter was younger, I used to be on parent council at her school, and I was actually part of all those kids' lives. They used to call me paparazzi because I didn't do crafts, but I took photos for the teacher and other events, and they all know me as Dr. Rob. And so now they know that I've done a lot of things for this community. In fact, I started a group called TRAC, the Terwillegar Riverbend Advisory Council, and of course there was other people that were there with me, and we are actually very instrumental in getting this rec center. And this rec center here was for not just the community, but for youth as well too. One of the things that we found is that a lot of kids were at home just doing nothing, playing on their video games and all that kind of stuff. I've actually had parents come up to me and say, you know what, Rob, thanks for doing this, because one of the big thing about this facility here is we have a thing called a flexi hall. And we made sure that the flexi hall was there for spontaneous recreation. So afterwards you can go in there and you can shoot hoops and you can do all kinds of stuff. And that's really good for the young folk, right? I mean, because they're there to socialize, play sport, get healthy, and that's what's very important.
Awesome. So this is actually this is something that Rob definitely helped get into place for our community. I actually live in Ward 9, so this is amazing that we have this
Excellent.
here. And actually, I was wondering what other things have you done that would make you a good counselor for our ward? And
Yeah, so I've been involved in my community leagues. I've been involved in not just only this, but there's a thing called the Edmonton Youth Talent Show. The EFCL used to put on a talent show for about 63 years, decided to drop it. It was brought forward to myself, and there's a young lady by the name of Brittany Grayling. She's our artistic director, and I was the event director. So we put on this event youth talent show. It's under the TRAC umbrella, and it's for 5 to 18 years of age, and it's voice. It's phenomenal. It really brings all these kids out, to show off their talents and be adjudicated. And in fact, one of those performers actually got the guitar from Keith Urban on stage. Yeah, and so she was part of our Edmonton Youth Talent Show. The other thing that we also have been doing too is, for example, you look at this Lillian Osborne High School over here. I've been part of that. They're actually constructing a performing arts center, theater, and it's just over there. And that's going to be for the community, because we know that there are a lot of people in this community who love arts and who love all kinds of things. So we're offering arts for the people, we're offering recreation, all those kind of things, right? The other thing that I've also done is, I'm not just thinking of youth, I'm also thinking of when I get older. So I co-founded the Southwest Edmonton Seniors Association. We're all going to get old, but it's important that, we keep our senior citizens in the community, engaged, socialization, etc., etc. And the reason I say this is because, actually this Sunday we're putting on a 21 city concert, across Canada concert for suicide awareness, and it's called Mysterious Barricades. It's going to be live streamed all across the world, and the thing about suicide is that it happens in young folk, it happens in army folk, and it happens in seniors. And my dad at 83 died of suicide, right? So the thing is, when seniors retire, men don't retire as well as females. And so we need to get seniors out socializing. And that's what's very important. And so that's the reason why we have the Southwest Edmonton Seniors Association. And it's been great. They're out doing all kinds of activities, right? So for me, it's about promoting healthy communities. I'm a physician, and what I want to make sure is that when I promote healthy communities, it's not just about the programming, it's about the structure, it's about mental and physical health and every aspect of that. And I want to make sure that that's what we can do in this community.
Awesome. Sorry to hear that about your dad. I'm glad that you're trying to do something to, try and make that, solve that problem, because mental health is a big issue, and even on the municipal level we can do something, and that's pretty important. So one of the things we want to touch on as YEGnation, go out there, vote, guys. All of us young folk, I want to see that. I want to see you guys out there. I want to see you guys get engaged. And on top of that, I want to see cultural diversity and more gender equality out there in the voting people, but also people who are getting out in the community and active and being involved. And I want to know, how are you targeting, women? How are you targeting, trying to get more cultural diversity? Yeah. It's been a problem within city council that we have, quite a few older white males. That's like the majority of everything. And, the demographics aren't really like that in Edmonton. We all know that.
Well, like I say, there's a lot of things that I've done in the community. There's one thing that's been really true to my heart. In this community, there is a pocket of poverty within this pretty affluent community. And it's called Brander Gardens, and there are people there who just don't have the means. That we've put together an amazing program, and it's called Brander Gardens Rocks, reaching out to community kids. I'm actually part of the End Poverty, and so what we've done there is that we've put together programming and offer community sports and financial literacy and community dinners, and just getting all these people to assimilate. And these people are all colors, right? And women. And what was interesting is that some of these women who come from like Somalia, Sudan and all that, we were encouraging them to come out to these community dinners. And our supervisor is a white lady, right? And they weren't very comfortable at that moment. But you know what? We created that relationship. And now these women have come out. They're actually making the dinners of their various countries. And all the kids are participating. They're playing soccer. We've offered them free soccer. So we've assimilated all these people into the community, and now they themselves, the kids, are becoming leaders in our program and within this community. Now, when it comes to your question about social and cultural diversity, I'm very involved with that, and you can go to my website and see all the photos. What's very important on council is to have what I call functional and social diversity. So functional meaning that everyone brings in their certain skills, right? And social diversity means that of culture and gender and whatnot. Very, very important. You could say, okay, we could have a whole bunch of white guys do it and it's really boring and it is boring. You need to shake it up a little bit. You need to bring in all those various aspects, because that way you actually stimulate more conversation and you get different perspectives, right? So that's what's very important. So for me, it's this functional and social diversity that is very, very important. And I really encourage, we do have a candidate, Sandy Pond, who's running in this community, and I hope she does well. Obviously I'd like to get myself in,
yeah, of course.
But I'm really happy that she's on board, because that's great. That takes a lot, by the way, to run for public office, right?
Awesome. So for everyone who's out there, they may not be that interested in municipal politics. What are some topics that maybe people haven't considered that's important to the people of Ward 9? Yeah, well,
when I go to the doors, the main huge issue here is transportation or surplus school sites, right? But I've had a lot of people talk about about cultural issues. I've had people talk about, are we going to get a shelter for the homeless people here? So when it comes to our community, a lot of the citizens it comes down to the basic things. People want to live happily in this community, right? They want to get to places. They want to make sure that they have sidewalks. They want places for recreation. They want to have a community that is aesthetically very, very nice, right? And in fact, last night at our Oak Hills Community League meeting, we actually had a planning session. and we talked about what could we do in like this neighborhood in terms, and we talked about pavilions and tennis courts and pickleball and you know, and by the way, pickleball, I'm going to tell you about pickleball real quickly. It's like paddleboard tennis, and the reason why it's called Pickle is because the guy who invented it had a dog named Pickle. That's, there you go.
Yeah, I was wondering what pickleball was.
That's what pickleball's all about, okay? But anyways, they're very involved. And you know, here's the other thing. I used to live by the university when I was going to U of A for med school, and in Garneau they had a volleyball, you know, sand volleyball, right?
I've been there, actually.
Yeah. And you know what was really good is that you got all these young people with their hormones, right? And they want to take their shirt off and really compete, and you get Coca-Cola to sponsor it, and you know what? They come out. That's what I want to do here, right? I want to do that. I want to engage people to come out and play all kinds of various things and get engaged in the community in a very, very different way than just your typical, yeah, I go to school and I do this and I do that. I want to make absolutely sure that you know, all the pathways that we have here are going to be used, for example, in the wintertime for cross-country skiing, in the summertime for jogging. I'd like to have, you know, recreational nodes, as they call them, to work out, you know, outside. I've seen that in China. I know there's some places here in Edmonton that have that. But the things that I've been asked by the citizens is, what are you going to do that's going to be different for this community compared to everyone else? I am going to take care of the transportation issues, and I'm going to take care of all those little things and make sure that I spend your dollars wisely, right? And the thing that I want to do that's very, very important, and I think this is really instrumental, is that just like TRAC, right? The Twilliger River Advisory Council, I want to, everyone comes to that. I want to listen to those people first. People don't understand that when you're on council, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made, and the lay people do not understand how those decisions are made. I want to say, this is what was brought to me. I'm going to explain it to you in lay terms at this Ward 9 council that I'm going to form with all bunch of people from this community, and I say, what are your thoughts on this? So that I've engaged everybody, and then I'm going to bring back their thoughts plus my thoughts and make that decision, right? And that's how you engage.
Awesome. So I guess we'll start wrapping things up here. I just wanted to ask, you know, for all the people watching YEGnation right now, if you have any last words for them, anything you want to tell them, the young people who we want to get out and get them to vote, you know?
Yeah, I do want to get the young people out and vote. I want you to get engaged because the future is yours, right? And I have a motto, and it's called Make It Happen. So I want you to make it happen.
Awesome. Check us out on YouTube, YEGnation, www.yegnation.com. This is awesome. It's been, so Rob, it was nice meeting you.
Thank you.
Awesome.